Oh, hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Michael Boy. I'm here with Read, Remember, Repeat, and we just want to let you guys know, we could be doing something selfish, things for ourselves, right? But we started a charity, and this is very unselfish on our part because what we want to do is give back to the kids, the youth, the orphanage, the homeless, the people that don't have those new ideas because they're stuck in a revolving door. So what we want you guys to do is definitely reach out to us. This is the link right here. Help us save a life. Click the link in bio. Read, remember, repeat. Yes, y'all. We are back with another Read, Remember, Repeat episode, Outwitting the Devil. It's your host from the East Coast, Muggle Boy. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, let's jump into the book, man. I want to get into some real vibes right now. Just got finished swimming. You know what I mean? Had a great swim this morning. Hope everybody else is feeling great, you know what I mean? Doing good, getting things done, being productive. Yeah, man, and taking control of your mind, man. Taking control of everything you're doing with intent, you know what I mean? That's what's really gonna make the difference from you drifting and just letting the world take you like a whirlwind. But, yeah, man, let's jump right into it. Page 108. If you can do all that you claim with propaganda, it is little wonder what we have wars and business depressions. Give me a simple description of what you mean by the term propaganda. Just what is it and how does it work? I wish to know particularly how you cause people to drift through the use of this devilish device. Propaganda is any device, plan, or method by which people can be influenced without knowing that they are being influenced or the source of the influence. Propaganda is used in the business for the purpose of discouraging competition. Employers use it to gain advantage over their employees. The employees retaliate by using it to gain advantage over their employers. In fact, it is used so universally and through such a smooth and beautiful streamlined technique that it looks harmless even when it is detected. We actually read this yesterday, but we're gonna keep going. Let's go over it. I suppose some of your boys are now engaged in preparing the minds of the American people to drift into some form of dictatorship. Tell me how they work. Answer: yes, millions of my boys are preparing Americans to be Hitlerized. My best boys are working through politics and labor organizations. We intend to take over the country with ballots instead of bullets. Americans are so sensitive that they would never stand the shock of seeing their form of government change with the aid of machine guns and tank cars. So our propaganda boys are serving them a diet they will swallow. By stirring up strife between employers and employees and turning the government against business and industry, when propaganda has done its work thoroughly, one of my boys will move in as dictator and the 9 old men on your Supreme Court with their silly notions of the construction will move out. Everyone will be given a job or fed from the government treasury. Everyone will be given a job or fed from the government's treasury. When men's bellies are filled, they drift freely with one who does the filling. Hungry men get out from under control. So we're gonna step out the Q&A real quick, right? In 1938, one of the devil's tools for Hitlerizing America was turning the government against business and industry and feeding the populace from the government treasury. Is that still the case today? Is the devil succeeding? Were Napoleon Hill to interview the devil today, the devil might well gloat over the so-called entitlement programs now in place or proposed and crow over the government's increasing involvement in independent business, such as the automotive and financial industry. Wow. Question: I have often wondered who invented the clever trick which you call propaganda. From what you tell me of its source and nature, I understand why it is so deadly. Only one as clever as your majesty could have invented such a device with which to dull the reason, dethrone the will, and lure men into drifting. Why do you not use your powerful propaganda to gain control of your victims instead of subduing them through fear and annihilating them through warfare? What is fear of the devil except propaganda? You have not observed my technique very carefully, or you would have seen that I am the world's greatest propagandist. I never attain an end by direct. open means which I can achieve through subterfuge and subtlety. What do you suppose I am using when I plant negative ideas in the minds of men and gain control of them through what they believe to be their own ideas? What would you call that except the cleverest of all forms of propaganda? Surely you are not going to tell me that you destroy people through their own help without their realizing what you are doing. That is exactly what I wish you to understand. Moreover, I will show you exactly how the trick is performed. Question. Now we are getting somewhere. Exactly. How do you convert human beings into propagandists and lure them into self-imprisonment? Give me the story with all its lurid details. This is the most important part of your confession, and I am consumed with eagerness to gain control of your secret. I can hardly blame you for stalling about answering my question, because you know so well that your answer will snatch millions of innocent victims from your control. You also know that your answer will protect other countless millions of yet unborn people from being victimized by you. It is little wonder you are hedging about answering. Your deductions are correct. This part of my confession will do me more damage than all the remainder of it. Question. Stating your headache in a better way, this part of your confession will save more millions of people from your control than all the remainder of it. Answer. All I can say is that you have me in a hell of a situation. Question. Now you shall know how the millions of your victims feel. Let's have it. Answer. I make my first entry into an individual's mind by bribing him. Family, we're going to get into this source, then we're going to come right back. Let's go. And we are back, gang. So the devil here answers, I make my first entry into an individual's mind by bribing him, right? So I want y'all to understand that that's his biggest work, you know what I mean? By bribing him, right? So if we continue, we're gonna start off right there where we left off, right? I make my first entry into an individual's mind by bribing him. Question, what do you use as a bribe? I use many things, all of them pleasant things. The individual covets, I use the same sort of bribes that individuals use when they bribe one another. That is, I use for bribes the things people most want. My best bribes are these: love, the thirst for sex expression, covetousness for money, the obsessive desire to gain something for nothing, gambling, vanity in women, egotism in men. In today's environment, clearly both women and men can fall victim to both vanity and egotism. Desire to be the master of others, desire for intoxicants and narcotics, desire for self-expression through words and deeds, desire to imitate others, desire for perpetuation of life after death, desire to be hero or heroine, desire for physical food. Question. That is an imposing list of bribes, Your Majesty. Do you use others? Yes, plenty of them. But these are my favorites. Through some combination of them, I can enter the mind of any human being at will at any age from birth until death. Question. You mean these bribes are the keys with which you can silently unlock the door to any mind you choose? That is exactly what I mean, and I can do it too. Question. What happens when you enter the mind of a person who is not yet in the habit of drifting, but belongs in the 98% class as a potential drifter? I answer. I go to work immediately to occupy as much of that person's mind as I can, Master. If the individual's greatest weakness is the desire for money, I begin to dangle coins before him, figuratively speaking. I intensify his desire and induce him to go after money. Then when he gets near it, I snatch it away from him. This is an old trick of mine. After the trick has been repeated a few times, the poor fellow gives in and quits. Then I take over a little more space in his mind and fill it with the fear of poverty. That is one of my best mind fillers. Question. Yes, I admit your method is very clever, but what happens if the victim fools you and gets his hands on a lot of money? You don't fill his mind with fear of poverty then, do you? No, I don't. I take over the space by filling it with something which serves my purpose just as well. If my victim converts his desire for money into large sums, I start overfeeding him with the things he can buy with it. For example, I cause him to stuff himself with rich foods. This slows down his thinking capacity, endangers his heart, and starts him on the road to drifting. Then I pester him with intestinal poisoning through the surplus food he eats. Then I pester him with the intestinal poisoning through the surplus food he eats. That allows also slows down his thinking and gives him a nasty disposition. So that means the food we are eating sometimes is not good for us. We got to pay attention to that, you know? Question: what if the victim is not a glutton? What other follies can you induce him to pick up that lead to drifting? If the victim is a male, I can usually snare him through his sex appetite. Overindulgence in sex starts more men to drifting toward failure than all other causes combined. Question: so food and sex are two of your sure fit baits? Is that correct? Yes. With these two laws, I can take over a majority of my victims, and then there's a desire for money. Question: I'm beginning to think that wealth is more dangerous than poverty, if your story is to be believed. Answer: that altogether depends upon who has the wealth and how it was acquired. What has the manner in which money is acquired to do with its being a blessing or a curse? Everything. If you don't believe me, take a look at those who acquire a large amount of money quickly without time to get wisdom along with it, and observe how they use it. So sometimes you see getting money quick is not a bad thing. Sometimes you build the mindset so that when you do come across large amounts of money, you know what I mean? You know how to handle it. You know where to put it. So don't beat yourself up. Everything takes time. Why do you suppose rich men's sons seldom equal the achievements of their fathers? I'll tell you why. It is because they have been deprived of the self-discipline which comes from being forced to work. Look into the records of moving picture stars or athletes who suddenly find themselves in possession of big money and hero worship and praise from the public. Observe how quickly I move in and take them over in many cases, mainly through sex, gambling, food, and liquor. With these, I catch and control the biggest and the best of people as soon as they get their hands on big money. Family, this right here is amazing, right? We're going to step away from the Q&A real quick. Think of the countless athletes who have become mega celebrities only to crash and burn from their fast money and fame. And then think of the millions of young people who looked up to them. Think of lottery winners who end up losing all their money within just a few years after they win the lottery. Could it be from drifting or fallout from gambling? Could these cycles be orchestrated by the devil? Family, this is Read, Remember, Repeat, and we'll see y'all tonight at the night show. 100 gang.